What's up, everyone? Champ Bets back again to cover the next UFC card, UFC 301, Pantoja versus Erceg in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I'm very excited for this card. I think this is going to be a really fun one again. And I think there's some pretty good betting opportunities in there. So we're going to cover it. But first, let's go over the last card that we covered, which was Perez versus Nicolau. So we can go ahead and take a quick look at the results. So this is my betting results on BetMMA.tips. I got Lipsky wrong and Figlak wrong, although I think Figlak should have won, but it's okay, not a big deal. We ended up making profit because of our two big bets of the night, Uros Medic and Mahashate. Medic, look, I mean, you can't ask for a better performance. Real quick KO. We love to see that. And Mahashate, in hindsight, not the best bet. I won't lie, this is not a good bet. It won. I'm happy it won, but you can't be having a fight that close to Gabriel Benitez. I thought he was gonna get a KO like really quickly, and I thought Benitez was going downhill in terms of like durability, which is why I bet fight does not go to distance. A little bit on that, but it is what it is. Mahashate was the one who what really mattered here, and those are the results from that. Some other highlights on that card that I want to go over. Ivana Petrovic handled the storm from Leon. Well done. Chris Padilla got a very nice sub after not doing so good in that fight. Ketlin Souza dominated the whole fight, but Marnik Man started to look better round 3. But Ketlin Souza's fight the whole way through. Dontel Mays, Kyle Machado. I was very impressed by this fight. I thought this is the best performance by Dontel Mays like I've seen of him. He looked freaking great in that fight, and that was actually a really good fight. I don't really like heavyweight fights like big heavyweights that are on like the prelims or even like the feature fight of a main card on fight nights. Man, shout out Dontel Mays. I thought I shouted out I think I shouted. It's either I don't know if I did, but a spread bet was very good, and that ended up would have hit. So yeah. Also, Hubbard Figlak. I thought Figlak won, but it was a close fight. I'm not that mad. It is what it is. Victor Henry, Ronnie Yaya. Yeah, I did have Victor Henry in like some parlays, as you can see here. Yeah, it was kind of obvious he was gonna win. I didn't like how he's looking in round 1 though. I won't lie. I think it's Ronnie Yaya. I didn't expect that, but yeah, I already covered Eros Medic. David Onama. What a fight. That fight was so good. Did miss weight, but looked good on the feed. Round 1 or yeah, round 1 I think. Then round 3, he was able to pull it off. Although I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought JSP won, but I don't know. Good fight though. I picked Onama to win. Jonathan Deniz was able to get a KO round 2 after some adversity round 1, so good on him. Lipsky, Karine Silva. I'll go over this one more since I lost this one. Lipsky was just able to get taken down. I think if we look at the judges' scorecard, it was like 130-27, which I don't even know how you get, and 229-28. And I'm assuming they gave round 3 to Lipsky. I feel like round 2 was actually going Lipsky's way. But then but she got taken down and she got put down there for a while. I didn't think Karine Silva was doing that much damage down there. But then when Lipsky took the chance to get up, head kick. Oh, I mean, that lost her the fight. And yeah, it's lame. It is what it is. I love me some Lipsky. Good win by Karine Silva. Ryan Span Guskov, the guy I met on Vegas won. Good old Guskov. After showing pretty good improvements on the ground defensively, like he kept himself safe down there, which is like, I was very impressed because it didn't look like he had those capabilities before. So, shout out to him. And Nicolau Alex Perez, freaking great KO by Perez. That was fantastic. That fight was a lot better than I thought it was because I have this thought in my mind of Mateus Nicolau like not being the most like interesting fighter. But Alex Perez brought him a fight, and Mateus Nicolau fought back, and it was a very good fight. It was a very good fight, and Perez was able to find a KO. So, yeah. And if we're going to look at we should also take a quick look at my performance overall. Went up from last time. Yay, we're at all-time high. So beautiful. We'll keep trying to go ahead and replicate that for this Brazil card. So let's get into it. Let's get into Tapology. Pantoja versus Erceg. Let's go through this quick. I like the underdog Borjas here to get a KO round 1 or 2, but I think I'll get a KO. The thing with Costa is that he's kind of susceptible to freaking straight punches, and that was like plainly shown in that Erceg fight. I think a lot of people are gonna come into this like Borjas fight thinking like, oh, he lost to Joshua Van. Like the way he lost was pretty bad. He looked great round 1, and he's shown in other performances in the past that he does have cardio to go ahead and do his thing. It's just Van had crazy pressure in that fight. And I don't think Costa's going to be having that pressure in this fight. And I don't think he's going to have this success with takedowns and stuff like that. So I think Borjas is going to light him up on the feet and even KO him. So I think Borjas is going to win. That's a pretty big underdog, even though odds don't say so. I'm only going to take the plunge on that. Ismail Bonfim versus Vince Patel. Lock of the card. Although Vince Patel's tough, so I think I'll go decision. But Bonfim is just going to... Actually, no, because Bonfim gets finishes. I'll say round 2 to be nice. Bonfim is going to smoke this dude. This is a murder. This you know what the UFC is doing. I can't speak properly. You know what the UFC is doing with this matchup. They want to get Ismail Bonfim back on a win after losing to Benoit Saint-Denis, who is really good, of course. And they're giving him Vince Patel, who hasn't fought in over 2 years. Bonfim is just better. He's younger. It's just all the things favor him. This guy's 41 years old. Minus 550. I feel like it should be even bigger if I'm honest. So Ismail Bonfim, my eyes lock at the card. Next fight up. This is a tough one. I'm not confident. I'm going to go with Barboza by sub. Like, we'll give Ernesta some love. We're saying round 2. Ernesta is not bad at all, but her ground game is not all that. Is there a chance that she's able to like flurry on the feet, making Barboza not even have a chance to get a takedown? Yeah, it's very possible. If this fight stays on the feet, Ernesta is very, very likely winning. I kind of want her to win, but I do think Diona Barboza is going to be able to find a takedown and get a sub off that takedown. That's really what I think it boils down to, and yeah, that's what I'm going with. Oops, I keep doing that. This is tough for me. I don't know what typology's on about, but I think I am gonna go with them and like say KO round 2. I'm not confident at all. Because I know I really believe that Malarkey's the better fighter. Do I do this where I make a pick of Malarkey? I'm picking Malarkey. Screw it. I think Malarkey can even get a KO of himself. I don't think this competition this guy's fought has not been really all that. And like I'm willing to take a plunge of Malarkey, who's had a bad spell as of late, been KO'd by Naimov, that was just nasty freaking blow. And then Haqparast again with a nasty blow. This guy doesn't have the greatest chin at all. Definitely not. And I see the reason why most of these dudes are picking this guy is because this guy has freaking chin ability. It's in Brazil. But honestly, I'm going overall with the guy who I think is the better fighter, and I'm gonna stick with that. Surprisingly young too. I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't look like it because he's been in the fight game for so long, but I'll take Malarkey being the better fighter. I think he's the better fighter. Here we go. I got Joe Card close to win a decision. In this fight, I don't really think Joaquim Silva's all that great. Sure, he hurt Arman Sarukian, but brought nothing else to the table in that fight. Jakar Close, on the other hand, has been looking pretty good as of late. I guess he was getting kind of ragdolled by Joe Selecki, but then was able to get the KO slam out of nowhere. He wasn't necessarily winning that fight. But these other fights, other than the Dariusha one, which was, oh my god, 4 years ago, making me feel old. um, I feel like he's been looking pretty good in, and I think he's the better fighter. I think he's gonna be able to put on volume. I think the wrestling will be there. Joaquim Silva is kind of low volume himself. Sure, he can hit a big punch, which is probably his way of victory, but I think Drakkar Klose is the guy to win this fight. I like him. Try to keep doing that. This fight, I want to cry picking this fight. I don't want to pick against either of these guys. Like, my head is telling me Orlabai. It really is. But, like, do I pick Orlabai? I'm doing this on Friday because I wanted to see the scales, and kind of specifically for this fight. Like, how this fight would, like, look. This dude is gigantic. I'm not sure if this is, like, actually 5'10". And this guy did have a good weight cut. Elvis Brenner looked fine on this scale. I know there's this video on social media of him, like, with his freaking another team member, like, hugging together. I'm going to go with Brenner by KO round 3. But let me explain myself, because I'm not confident. I have zero confidence in this. I think Orlabai is the real deal. I think Elvis Brenner is the real deal. This is a great fight. I think maybe Elvis Brenner can get a KO round 1, but more likely than not, round 1 is going to be all Orlabai. He's going to freaking wrestle Brenner, and he's gonna put him in bad spots, and it's gonna be a pretty dominant round. I think a live bet on Brenner is not a bad bet. I think that's going to be a sneaky thing to take. I think rounds 2 and 3 are going to be the interesting ones. Is it possible Orlabai is able to stick on Brenner like glue, like he's been doing, and keep going like that? It's very possible, but I think this is going to be a dog fight, and rounds 2 and 3 are going to be decided by that. I think it's either going to be either decision or late finish by one of these two. So I think Brenner in Brazil is going to be able to find a KO against this guy who's not been KO'd. And he does have a great chin. There's no confidence in this. But I think Brenner's going to be able to figure it out and find a way. So, yeah. This one hurts my soul. I'll say decision because Carolina is she's got experience. She's very experienced, so I think she'll keep herself safe. But to me, this is Lucindo all day. I'm kind of surprised by this. I hope Carolina wins. If I'm honest, I'm a big Carolina fan. But I feel like Lucindo's age or even her skills at this point kind of outmatch her. I think this is a pretty safe pick, if I'm honest. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, because I love me some Carolina Kolpakevich. Next fight up the card. Jose Anderson Brito versus Jack Shore. I'm going Anderson Brito by first round KO. Just the physicality difference in this fight is insane. I like Jack Shore 135. I'm not a fan of him at 145. I didn't like how he looked last time. To be fair, his first time at 145 in a while. So maybe he looks better this time around, but man, Brito's got it all. I like him. I really like him. I think that Bellagio fight is a robbery. That's a hot take, I know, but I feel like this dude Brito is gonna be too much for Jack Shore to take in, and I think he's either gonna get a KO or he's gonna win the first 2 rounds off physicality alone. And Jack Shore would need like a round 3 finish, and I don't think he's gonna be able to do it. I like J. Anderson Brito here. Why is he not fighting a ranked opponent at this point? He really should be fighting a ranked opponent. I feel like this is. I think this is a step down in competition after fighting JSP. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going with that. Here we go. Caio Borralho versus Paul Craig. Caio Borralho. I think he gets a KO this time. I'm going to go round 1, but you never trust this guy to finish, I feel like. But I think he will get a KO over Berju. Man, this dude Kyle is that dude. I really like him. I love how intelligent he fights. He already said he's going for a KO, so I'm gonna trust him on that. Most people agree Kyle's gonna win. just on the difference on the feet is pretty substantial. Like Kyle Barados from the Fighting Nerds, so he's got that the karate base kind of thing. He's also got fantastic grapple. I think if it goes on the ground, Baradio will be fine, but keep on the feet. Let's not risk it. Let's not risk it. I think Kyle's gonna be able to tag Craig up on the feet and get a finish. So that's what I think. On to the next one. This is an interesting fight. I actually really like this fight. I think this is a banger. I'm going to make Pereira by KO. When has this fight's been finished? Like, I'm going round 2. I'm going round 2. I think Eeyore will be able to last a round, more than one round. But Eeyore has got a chance in this fight. I'm being straight up. Eeyore at 185, I think, is a different beast, and this dude is freaking massive for the weight. But so is Mikel. I think in Brazil he's got a bunch of what am I trying to say? His run as a late, he's been freaking phenomenal. He's been looking amazing at 185. He's been KOing dudes. He got KO power in this weight class, but Eeyore himself at 185, I think, is a beast in itself, and I don't think it's going to be as easy. At minus 700 or whatever odds freaking Mikel Pereira is, hell no. I wouldn't bet this. I would not bet this. I think Mikel is going to keep his streak going in Brazil, but can I see Eeyore getting upset? It's possible. So yeah, I'd stay away from this one betting wise, but I do think Pereira is going to be able to get the win. I love me some Eeyore Pereira, undefeated in Brazil, but just 1-0 against Shogun. But so maybe this is going to be revenge for that, even though the Bellato fight basically was that. But I digress. That's going to be a really fun one though, for as long as it lasts. Next one up the card, Lionheart, Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino. I'm gonna do it. Anthony Smith by round 2 sub or round 3 sub. It's gonna be one of those. I think Anthony Smith wins this fight legitimately. I think Vitor. I mean, I'm on record. I mean, not necessarily on champ bets because I only just started this, but I think this Vitor Petrino guy is a freaking fraud. I do, and I have been proven wrong each time so far with 4 fights in the UFC. Yeah, 4 fights. Round 1 might be dicey, but I have been listening to Anthony Smith interviews, and I like what I'm hearing from him. I like that he knows that Vitor Petrino is going to be a predictable guy to fight. He's going to be predictable on the feet. Petrino's got a good jab. Kind of about it, but like he's got power, of course, because he's massive for this weight class. And Anthony Smith knows exactly what kind of fight he's getting into. He's fighting a guy who's he knows he's going to be massive. Knows that crazy power, kind of like a Ryan Spann. And he does have a ground game himself, like some wrestling. But something I did notice when Vitor Petrino fought Tyson Pedro, when he's wrestling, he looks over to his corner a bunch. Like, what do I do? So like he's green. Vitor Petrino is very green. He totally is. And that is one big case of that. And with that, I think if he's still doing that, I think Anthony Smith is going to be able to find a moment, catch a sub, and make a little comeback. Make a comeback after maybe a rough round. Even on the feet, I think Anthony's. I don't like his chances at anywhere near as much as I do on the ground with Petrino in a later fight. But I think with what he said, he's training with really good guys for this camp. I think he said Sean Strickland, Mikel Pereira, some other dudes that I just can't remember off the top of my head because I watched this 2 days ago. And I did hear that apparently he wasn't even training between the Ryan Spann fight and the Khalil Roundtree fight. And he took that Khalil Roundtree fight on short notice to fight him, and all his training was just weight cutting. Like, what the hell are you? I mean, first off, stupid as hell, Anthony Smith. Stupid. But He sounds like he's in a much better place. And I think he's gonna be able to find a sub on Petrino, if I'm honest. I really think so. So that's a whole thing. And at these odds where Petrino's at, do not you don't have to bet Anthony Smith. Do not bet Petrino, man. I think he's gonna be like a parlay killer for dudes. Maybe not today, but like sooner rather than later. This dude's gonna get fraud checked. I really do believe so. Yeah, I'm going Anthony Smith to win. I hate picking this fight too. I was on Jonathan Martinez all week, and my history with Jonathan Martinez, I have been doubting this dude for let's say, well, maybe I picked him a Cup Swanson fight, but I definitely didn't pick him to beat Saeed. I definitely didn't pick him to beat Adrian Yanez. I was so stupid. Adrian Yanez didn't do the freaking thing he needed to do. He didn't freaking protect his legs, so he got beat. Maybe I picked him against. No, I definitely picked one of these dudes against him. But yeah, like I know I've been picking against this dude ever since that Davey Grant fight. But Jose Aldo is so old. There's so many red flags. It feels like he's coming out of retirement just to take this fight, save the card, probably getting a bag. But stylistically, it's all Jose. So, because Jonathan Martinez's biggest weapon are those leg kicks. The leg kicks are magnifique. He's got good body kicks too, actually. It's a pretty underrated part of his game. But if we know anything about Jose Aldo, that's one of the best things he's good at. He's great defensively at checking leg kicks. And I think that ultimately that's going to be what it is. I like the boxing of Jose Aldo. He's become much more of a boxer. I mean, he literally did boxing. Yeah, this Marab fight was his last fight. Almost not even 2 years ago, which is kind of crazy. It feels like it kind of has been. But I digress. Aldo's been like somewhat active. The decision against Jeremy Stevens in boxing is not a freaking good look, though. I'll tell you that. And I don't feel any sort of confidence picking Aldo to win this fight. But I don't think Jonathan Martinez is all that. Again, especially if you negate his best skill of the leg kicks. I think in Rio, I like the spread bet. I'll tell you that. I like the spread bet on Aldo plus 3.5. Because I think he's going to be able to at least win a round. I think this fight's probably going to go to decision. I don't think either guy's going to get finished here. Maybe Martinez gets finished, but probably not. Probably not. I think Aldo's be able to win a round, and that would all you need. All you need to win the spread bet is just him to win a round. And yeah, I'm going with Aldo. But I was on Jonathan Martinez all week until like legitimately like yesterday or 2 days ago. I have no confidence in this fight really. I just think it's gonna be really close. So yeah, I'm going with Aldo. I'm going with Aldo. Yeah, Steve Erceg versus Alexandre Pantoja. This is a great fight. This is a legitimately great fight. I think this is gonna be a war. And you know freaking what? I think Steve Erceg's going to win a decision. Because respect to Pantoja, I think he's going to get lit up on the feet. But he's never been finished. I don't think it's going to change. It could change. Steve Erceg's got clean boxing. But let me get into this. I've been doing a lot of tape study of this Steve Erceg guy. And like some of his old stuff. Like his wrestling days. Like he's got a YouTube channel called Steven Erceg. I guess this is his real name. And he's got tape of his like amateur fights and some of his wrestling tournaments. And man, dude's got a wrestling base, and I think that's being ignored by a lot of people. It's like, oh, he's a striker. Dude can do it all. He's like, I've seen people say like he's like not well-rounded. That's what I'm saying. I've seen people say that Steve Erceg is he's not a striker, he's a grappler. He is well-rounded, and I think his UFC run's kind of shown it, and I feel like he's gotten tough matchups, if I'm honest. This was on short notice. David Dvorak, great anti-wrestler. Steve Erceg had to put it together on the feet. And he was able to win a close fight. I don't know how it was a split decision, because Steve Erceg definitely won, but it was close. But great win by Steve Erceg in a fight that I think is a tough matchup. Alexandre Costa, again, tough matchup, tough, durable guy who's definitely going to be like Pantoja. These are similar sort of matchups to Pantoja that we might be seeing with Pantoja. Alexandre Costa, and had to go through the fire, showed his chin in that fight, and was able to beat Costa on short notice again. And the fight didn't really have much time to prepare for. And match now, maybe not dominate. He got tagged a few times. Again, showed his chin. Was able to put match now out. Putting out Schnell isn't anything crazy, but again, the techniques, man, that Steve Erceg shows on the feet is beautiful. Unlike dudes like Brandon Moreno that Pantoja has fought, his jab is like, his jab and straight punches are, they keep at distance. He doesn't go with them like Brandon Moreno does. And I think that was a big reason why Brandon Moreno was able to get grappled a bunch of times by Pantoja. And with the frame of Steve Erceg, he is massive for a flyweight. Pantoja's massive for flyweight for a different reason. Like, he's got a lot of strength. He's big like on the thicker side, but Steve Erceg is a big dude. And he's gonna have that range advantage. He's a taller guy. I think he's gonna be able to put out that jab, and I think he's gonna beat up Pantoja on the feet, especially if we get on the later rounds. This is the one assumption I have to make about Steve Erceg. I think he's gonna be able to make it to those later rounds and put it on Pantoja, because Pantoja does get tired in fights. He wins by being able to will it through, get a takedown, stay on top, and another person stays on the ground. This dude Steve Erceg has great grappling of its own. I think he's a new age of martial artist. And I think the new age of martial artists is what's gonna propel him to victory. I like him to win this fight. I've been listening to so many Steve Erceg interviews, and I love the mentality he's coming in with. He truly believes in what he's gonna do to Pantoja. He's gonna be able to win this fight. And man, kind of crazy that's if Steve Erceg comes champ, freaking out of nowhere. And I love to see not even a year in the UFC, he would become the champion. So yeah, I'm leaning Steve Erceg to go ahead and win. Not like Pantoja doesn't have a chance. He doesn't have a chance. I think early round sub or decision, if he wins the early rounds, I think are good chances of him winning. But I think Steve Erceg is going to be able to not be destroyed in the grappling like some of these other fighters that Pantoja has fought. And I think because of that, I think Steve Erceg is going to win. Kind of crazy. I feel crazy for saying this, but hey, Astro Boy, Steve Erceg, I think he wins this one. So those are my picks. I guess that's about it. Let me just go through the card real quick again. Just real quick, maybe highlight some fun fights. Borjas, Costa, I think this will be a really fun fight. I think Borjas wins. Bonfim, Pichel. Pichel's not in boring fights. Bonfim's not in boring fights. That's going to be a good one. Barbosa, Ernesta, I think on the feet, I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Maybe not necessarily the most interesting to watch, but like there'll be an interesting fight to see, like the suspense of like who's going to win, because it can go either way. Ruffy, Malarkey, I can see Malarkey like put in some wrestling and maybe not make this the most interesting fight, but like very likely these two dudes are going to bang, and I think someone's going to get caught. I'm just picking the better fighter. Maybe I don't want Malarkey to do that, actually. So maybe scratch that. Joaquim Silva, Drakkar Close. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. It'll be a fine fight. Drakkar Close. This has the potential to be an amazing fight or a really boring fight, depending on outcome. If Olabai is able to get his way, which is very, very possible. No, I'm not going to be doubting Olabai like that. He can very well win it like a decision or a sub. Maybe not sub, because this guy works with shoot the box Alice Brenner. But like I think probably KO is more likely, like a ground and pound KO by Olabai than a sub. But I think if it goes how I think it plays out with Elvis Brenner, like putting in, like starting to go all out dog, I think he's gonna be able to put on a freaking amazing fight. Lucindo Carolina, I think is gonna be one-sided. I'm not gonna like it. Brito, Jack Shore. I think Brito's gonna get a finish here, get a quick finish, and I think that's a pretty good matchup, to be honest. Let's see if Jack Shore is able to handle a physical specimen like Joe Anderson Brito. Paul Craig, Kyle Brahalio, I think it's gonna be pretty one-sided, but I think it'll be fun, pretty fun one-sided. Igor Pateria, Michelle. I think this is gonna be a banger. I'm not sure if it goes super long, but I think Igor puts on fun fights. Mikel Pereira puts on fun fights. I think it's a good one. And Anthony Smith coming in as a big underdog to sub Vitor Petrino. In my eyes, I don't think this fight's gonna be all that great, if I'm honest. But I think Smith will be able to dog it out. Maybe he's gonna probably take punishment in the meantime, but that's what Lionheart does. So yeah. Martinez versus Aldo. I think this would be a really close decision, and it'll be a pretty compelling fight because of that. And Steve Erceg, Pantoja. I love this fight. I think it's going to be an amazing fight. And I do want to say this at the end. I think Pantoja is a phenomenal champion, and I think him taking a fight against Steve Erceg just shows that. Because in my eyes, Steve Erceg is one of like probably the top 3 toughest matchups for Pantoja in the division. And he's just taking him even when no one really knows him. Steve Erceg could be coming up more in the rankings. He wanted to fight in Brazil so bad. I respect the hell out of Alexandre Pantoja. I want to leave it off with that. Like, this dude's a freaking phenomenal champion. I'm never gonna forget that. I'm never gonna forget Pantoja did this. I think some people are gonna look back on this, especially if he wins. If they look back on this and be like, man, this Pantoja guy, what free title defense? Hell no. Hell no. This is not a free title defense at all. Pantoja is it's a BMF in my eyes. Respect to Alexandre Pantoja. And I do think Steve Erceg is gonna be able to get the win from being technically better. Being able to have the cardio keep the technique going with good cardio to win this fight. So yeah, in a war, I think that fight's gonna be a war. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. UFC 301 tomorrow. Let's go. All right. See you guys. Next time, probably gonna be somewhere else. So you see me with a different recording setup. I'll probably have like a weird headset, but yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for supporting Champ Bets. Of course, the Champ Bets website, champbetsmma.com. We got everything there. BetMMA.tips. I'm also on there. And yeah, if you want to have any convo, go in the comments and we can go ahead and talk. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a great one.